Hey guys, welcome. I'll let some people get on. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Sing with me. For a neighbor, would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in the city. Would a neighborly day for a beauty? Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hi neighbors. By all means, welcome. I know more people are going to come on board, but I don't want to hold you any longer. I am very excited about this one, guys. We are going to talk about money. Yes, we're going to talk about money and how money works. I'm so excited because I realized that a lot of people don't like to talk about money. And what really happens is whatever you like to talk about is what you create more of. Catch what I just said. The more what you like to talk about is what you create more of. I know a lot of people that like to talk about their problems, their issues, their worries, their concerns. And what happens? They create more problems and issues and worries and concerns. And they don't get it. And they say, Gary, why are you always so positive? Why are you always so optimistic? Because there's no sense of living in worry and depression and things of that nature. Because you got to focus on the solution, not the problem. And I love to talk about money. I try to talk to people about money, and they have challenges talking about money. There's nothing wrong with talking about money, especially if that's what you need. You need to try to find a solution to your problem. And that's what we're here to talk about. And I couldn't think of any better way to talk about money other than referencing a book I read years ago when I was younger by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Robert Kiyosaki breaks it down, the difference between his rich dad and his poor dad. And I was just blown away of how simple he broke it down and how clear he made it, and understanding how money works and helping you understand where you're at within the money system. Yes, we are all somewhere different within the money system. And the money system that I'm talking about is the cash flow quadrant. Yes, I'm around a lot of real estate investors, people who's into real estate, and they don't even know what the cash flow quadrant is. I was surprised to talking to one of my real estate buddies, and he was like, no, what's that? And Robert Kiyosaki is all about real estate, and accumulating assets. So I can't assume just because I know about something that everybody else knows about it, which you shouldn't make assumptions either. So it's great to get the information out. It's great to communicate and have the money talk. Well, without further ado, let's dive in and let's get right to it. Okay, I'm going to show you, I always have something behind the unveil when I'm about to reveal something on my board. I'm about to show you guys how money flows, and you'll be able to see where you sit at in this system. And then I'll transition and show you how Karatbars is the same way. Okay, now look. We have what we call the cash flow quadrant. Make sure that's clear. We had a cash flow quadrant. It's a 4 cash flow quadrant. And in this quadrant, we like, well, what are these letters, Gary? Well, it's an ESBI. The E stands for employee. Employees. A lot of people fall in the employee quadrant. And with the employee quadrant, you already know you work for someone else. Someone has what I call leverage over you. You're making someone else wealthy. You're building someone else's dream. A lot of people that's in this quadrant, work the 40-year plan. They went to school, they got a good grades, and they got themselves a good job. And now they're on the path of working the next 40 years for the rest of their life, building someone else's company or dream and making someone else wealthy. A lot of people in that quadrant feel as though they have job security. And in reality, they don't. At any given time, the person can come into their room, their cubicle, or in their space and say, hey, we no longer need your services, without any fair warning. And you will be devastated to then realize that you do not have job security. You do not have job security. And also, with employees, they feel as though that they're saving and they're building, but we'll learn, and we know people who are in Karatbars, that cash is really a debt. It's really not no security. And in the world that we live in right now, unfortunately, the possibility of war being, of an issue of concern, we might be headed for a recession, and it really doesn't matter when you're dealing with this recession. Also with inflation, your cash, U.S. currency, fiat currency has lost its purchasing power over the years. Over 83%, of purchasing power has been lost, So, and people don't understand that. So, and the first quadrant is the employee quadrant. And that's where a lot of people are at. And that's where a lot of people start and a lot of people stay. And the reason for that is because the system is set up like that. When we, come into this world, they put us in their system. And what do I mean by that? They put us in the system to be an employee. And how do they do that? By indoctrinating us and brainwashing us. You don't understand that this is a system that's set up to do just that. How do they do that? By educating us in their free public school system to do exactly what they want us to do. Sit back and think about what I just said. Free public education. If you think about all the years you spent in school, elementary, middle school, high school, did they ever really teach you about money? Did they ever teach you about owning a business? Did they ever teach you about building wealth? No, they don't teach you any of that. They teach you how to get a degree, get student loans, and that's the greatest asset of the federal government is the student loans. That's an asset for them because you're going to be paying back student loans for years on end, and they hold that over your head. You're set up to be in debt. You're programmed to be in debt. You're programmed to be an employee, to work for someone else, because what do you do after you graduate? You're looking for what? A job. They're not teaching you and training you in the public school systems on how to own a business. And then you have the teachers in there that's teaching you who are not even business owners. They teach you about, might have a business subject or accounting, and the person who's teaching is not an accountant or licensed, CPA or anything. They're just reading stuff out of a book that they were given to share that information with you, to duplicate just that. Just become an employee, unfortunately. That's the system that we are born into. And then don't let me get into the banks. Why do we put our money in the banks? You used to get, a nice interest rate on your money in the bank. And believe it or not, I understand now that they charging you to put your money in the bank, and you're losing. Some people got negative interest. You don't see it that way, but with the fees that they charging you to hold your money in their bank, you're actually losing money. There's no real reason to put your money in the bank these days. It's losing money. So that's the first quadrant, the employee quadrant. You work for someone else. Good luck with that. There's nothing super wrong with that if you have a plan to get out of there. And if you're trying to be free or elevate, you have to get out of the employee quadrant. The second quadrant is the self-employed quadrant. You're self-employed. And in the self-employed quadrant, you feel as though you escaped the employee quadrant. You got your registered business and you out there and you building a business. But the only person that's doing the work is who? Yourself. You're self-employed. Now, other people that fit in the self-employed quadrant is entertainers, believe it or not, doctors, all types of specialists. They get high salaries, high income per se, but they work for themselves. Even a lawyer, they work for themselves. They have their practice and they're the person pretty much doing all the work, wearing a lot of different hats. And they get taxed the highest, about 40%, they could get taxed up to. So now they're trying to figure out how to ways to write certain things off. They're self-employed. And that's a quadrant that is, if you don't make no money, then you're going to pretty much be bankrupt or homeless. You have to keep working. You're working for yourself. You probably don't have a boss, but now you own a job. You own your own self. That's about it. You're self-employed. And then I learned from the cash flow quadrant and reading Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in order to move from the self-employed to the what they call big business, the key thing to move over from self-employed to the big business quadrant is to entrust in other people. Entrust in other people. And when I read that years ago, that was like a little mental shift. And it's funny I say mental shift is because in order to move through these quadrants, you have to have a mental shift. You have to have a mental shift. It's a mental way of thinking, a mental way of looking at things in order to be able to move to the next level. And everybody, unfortunately, is incapable to make that mental shift. You have to entrust in other people in order to get into the B quadrant. What that means to me is that you have to entrust that other people can do what you do, if not better. You can train other people to do what you do. It don't matter what your profession is. In order to become a big business, that means you want to have leverage over other people. In order to have leverage over other people, you have to entrust that other people can do what you know how to do, if not better. See, you can't do everything. You can't do the accounting. You can't do the marketing. You can't answer the phones, be the secretary. You can't do everything. You have to be able to do what you do and let everybody else do what they do, and you all come together. And it's a company, a full-fledged business that's being ran. And what I always like to say is that if you're really a big business owner, you own that business over there. And you're doing whatever you're doing, but your business is up and running. Why? Because you got somebody that's overseeing everything. And it's just creating and generating income for you. That's when you're really a big business owner. And Robert Kiyosaki says, when you have over 500,000 employees, is when you're really a big business. Big businesses have leverage over people. When you're self-employed, it's just you. And when you're an employee, you're working for someone else. Now, the last quadrant is the I quadrant, which is the investor quadrant. And when you go to the investor quadrant, it's because you're making money by having leverage over people, but now your money makes money for you. So people make money for you in the big business quadrant, and now your money make money for you in the investor quadrant. And that's how it flows from employee down to self-employed, over to big business, over to investor. And really just make the shift over to the right quadrant and you're good to go. And that's how money moves. That's how cash flows. Those are the different quadrants, and you can determine what quadrant you're in and what quadrant you want to be in. And what I find so funny is that right now we could very well be sort of headed towards a recession. And people who are wealthy are excited. See, people who are poverty, and there's really no middle class, it ain't going to be a middle class. But the people who are in the poor class, low income class, they are thinking about doom and gloom, and they are sad, depressed. They working all these extra hours and they ain't getting ahead in life. And they don't know why. It's because they're forgetting the most important investment you can make in your whole entire life. You know what that is? It's not Karatbars. It's not in a business. What it is it's in education. Never stop learning. Educate yourself. Stay informed. Stay in the know. People are still stuck in 1999. They still talking about, 2002 problems, a divorce, they lost a job, things of that nature. Like, people are still stuck and waking up to the same problem every day, still complaining about the same thing every day. And they got to get out of that. We're in 2020. We're in 2020, and it's time to do 2020 things, if not 2024 things. You got to be looking at the future. You got to dream again. How many people have stopped dreaming? They are stuck in reality, and their reality isn't great, and they keep waking up to that same not so great reality and reliving it like it's Groundhog Day. The most important investment you can make is in education. Educate yourself about finances, about money, about the real world economy and how it works. I get excited when I learn and talk about Karatbars, and especially when it comes to cryptocurrency, because I realize that fiat currency is just that. It's just another currency. You got all different types of currencies. And we voluntarily signed up for the US fiat currency because we didn't have any other options. But now we have other options to pay ourselves, to pay for things with cryptocurrency. And once you grasp that and learn how to use that, you're going to be light years ahead of so many other people because they are dependent upon a depreciating currency. All fiat currencies eventually goes to zero. It's been historically proven. But if you learn about the money system, you learn about how money moves and how money works, you're only educating yourself and putting yourself in a better position. And that's what it's all about, education. So guys, learn about the money system. Do not be stuck in the past. Move on and learn about the future things to come. Prepare yourself. Acquire assets as an investor. And that's another thing that gets me excited about Karatbars. You're on this side with Karatbars. When you are saving in gold and a small, friendly transactional amounts, you are saving and acquiring assets. That's what's so phenomenal about what Mr. Harold Sykes, the CEO and founder of Karatbars, have done. He allowed for the everyday individual to start accumulating assets in affordable, friendly transactional amounts. Right now, gold is reaching $1,600 an ounce. Last year was somewhere around $1,400. They have about like an 18%, increase just by holding gold. Your gold has increased in value. And Karatbars allow you to accumulate gold, and whatever you exchange your fiat currency for, you really didn't buy gold. You just stored the value of your depreciating fiat currency in gold, so it won't depreciate anymore. And it actually increases in value. Hopefully you guys catch that. That's just awesome. But become an investor, become a big business owner. With Karatbars in the business quadrant, when you're sharing an opportunity, you're actually networking and building a team. You're building a team of people who acquire assets. So you're on the right-hand side of the 4-quadrant system. That's awesome. Get comfortable. Get educated with talking about money. Prepare yourself for the future. You may not have been born into wealth, but wealth can come from you. You could give birth to wealth to your family and the generations to come by you being the first person to push down the domino and then let it go. Get educated. That's my talk for today, guys. That's how money works. It's the cash flow system of money. Get excited that it's recession. Get excited that coin prices are down. Know why? Because you can buy them all up for real cheap. Just like real estate, they buy all the buildings up real cheap. And then when the economy turns around, boom, the millionaires just became billionaires. And that could very well be you. Right now, people talking about, oh, the coin of KBC is down. You should be getting excited. That's what the wealthy do. They get excited because they prepare for this moment. Now you buy up as many coins as you can. Don't say, oh, doom and gloom. Have a wealthy mentality. Recession is a necessary part of the fake money system. That's what I like to say, of the fake money system. The real money is gold. See, you have the boom and you have the bust. It constantly happens. You want to buy low, you want to sell high. Buy low and sell high. That's how it all works, guys. Stay focused, stay true, stay educated. Do not get discouraged. You're on the right track. You're in the right company with Karatbars International. Just stay a student, continue to learn your craft. That's my talk for the day, guys. Hopefully it was helpful. That's the money system, the cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's been helpful to me, and I'm just sharing it, and hopefully it's helpful to you. Well, until next time, guys, take care of yourself and each other. All right, let's go out. Bye-bye.